And I don't know whether to start with the good, the neutral, or the bad. So bear with me as I figure that out mentally and also do the old copy, post, share method for the socials. Alright. Oh yeah, I gotta grab Rumble's chat too. Okay, I think we'll start with the more newsworthy stuff. Like something that I think should be national news. And I'm kind of annoyed, but at the same time, not surprised. As, well, let's just kind of get into it real quick. There's a man out there whose name is Richard High. You know him as Angry Cops. I am a huge Angry Cops fan. You know, his content is a household name in our home. Well, he came out swinging on the Unsubscribed podcast. Great guys, by the way. And I'm not just kissing ass here. They really are solid dudes. I mean, Brandon almost blowing himself up with the homemade shotgun that regrettably killed Shinzo Abe was kind of a oops, but outside of small mishaps like that, I don't think there's anything that I can say negative about them other than small whoopsie daisies. Okay. Well, Angry Cops. I'm just gonna call him by his YouTube name. Angry Cops came out swinging towards the Buffalo School District in Buffalo, New York. They have a better name for themselves. Oh, I'm sure they won't be identified as just another school. Whatever, you're a school district. Get over it. Surprise, surprise. We have another school district trying to cover their own ass. This is intolerable, unacceptable, and absolutely needs to be confronted on a national conversation, not just one for New York. I have posted several times tagging Elon Musk's official account, Donald Trump's official account, Pam Bondi's official account. I even posted it to the FBI and Kash Patel, hoping that it would get someone's attention. Whether that does anything or not, I don't know. I kind of have my doubts about the cause and effect of such a thing. Now, I'm not going to sit here and debate whether he's lying or not. I will say that if found to be true, okay, I'm saying an investigation needs to be done, and I'm sure him, being a police officer, would encourage such a thing, okay? Because we don't know if it was one person who deleted it, whether they took orders. There's really no way to tell, okay? An investigation needs to be done, which is basically all that people like me and Angry Cops have been calling for. Just a generalized investigation to see what actually happened, okay? Bring attention to the issue and let it sort itself out in the legal system, right? The problem is that we have an accusation of someone deleting evidence, which is very possible. I'm going to quote someone that I don't usually quote here, and I don't even remember his YouTube tag because I don't actually follow him. It's just, I don't particularly care for his content type, which is fine. That's my choice of viewership. Okay? He did post something up on Twitter, and he was absolutely correct on this point. When it comes to computers, one of the reasons I don't like computers as machines is they are a pseudo-permanent record. Unless you actually know what you're doing and you realize what it's going to take to erase that quote-unquote evidence, or any sort of evidence whatsoever, people are going to find the F out and you're going to be in trouble, okay? Now, my message to the Buffalo School District involved in this: get ahead of it. Admit you're at fault, okay? I know it's not something you want to do, and your lawyers are probably sitting and saying, that's the worst thing you can do, blah, blah, blah. You're a school district. Your job is to protect kids, okay? Your job is to educate the same kids, and you failed. Obviously, you failed. So, sorry, not sorry, pay the friggin' piper. It is literally that simple. And if it comes down that it was literally the decision of one staff member, then that person is going to most likely pay a very steep in-house, probably firing level price, okay? Which is fine. But your parents of your students are their parents. You are not. The parents at your school have every right to know what's going on at their school. You do not have the right to hide that from them. Okay? And look, I've been called somewhat extreme on some of the things that I do and say. I think I need to clarify something about this quote-unquote online persona. I wear the Punisher Skull shirt as just kind of a thing, okay? It's not that kind of a thing, though. I will never, ever, well, alright, I will almost never call for violence, right? I'll sit here and say pedophiles deserve the wood chipper treatment feet first without anesthetic, and you'll never stop that. That is legitimately who I am. I hate them, and you will never get that hate out of me. That is one dose of hatred that I have, and it's kind of biblically founded, okay? It is. If you want forgiveness for your sins, I'm sure Jesus would be more than happy to hear about how you victimized an innocent somewhere. Okay? I, however, am not interested in hearing your sob story. When you commit crimes like that against kids, you do not get my pity or my mercy. You get the ugly end of things. Okay? That being said, these are bad allegations against the school district, right? We can agree with that. Everyone agrees with that. There is no disagreement there. This is a bad thing that the school district has covered up. But it needs to sort itself out in the right way through the legal system, not through vigilante justice. As much as I hate... Oh. Okay, no, they're fine. As much as I hate the fact that this is being covered up and all this stuff, there is no room for vigilante justice at this point in time. Okay? When would there be? I have no idea. That's the problem with vigilante-style justice. There is no answer for it. There is no real answer for when, which is why everyone, including people with level heads like Tim Pool, say there's never a time for it. I disagree with that statement. There is a time for it. But this isn't it. Okay? Look, vigilantism is something that's used when all other civilized and legitimate means of dealing with the situation have been dealt out, and even then only as a resort of certain extremes being met out. Okay? It's not something It's the one thing that I hated about Frank Castle is his willingness to just go out and cause mass physical harm, right? Just because someone did something that he disagreed with. And this isn't it. This is not it. I will continue keeping pressure put, as much pressure as I can put on these people, because they messed up. And they're doubling down on saying that they didn't. Which is most likely coming from their lawyer, by the way. Which is another reason why I disagree with vigilante justice, especially in this situation. They're getting shit legal advice. And they're being effectively run by their lawyer. Okay? That's what this is. You don't mete out the physical brand of I am vengeance kind of justice on people for getting bad legal advice. That's just not... No. That's not common sense. That's more honesty. That's stupidity. Alright? We all know that that's stupid. Okay? What I wear this shirt for is a reminder that it's on the table, but it's kind of an extreme measure, right? Now, you might hear me jump up and down and do this weird personality who's-ma-what's-it related to whatever game I'm playing. You know, you might hear me get a little elevated and say some Scarface line or something like that, right? That's online personality stuff. That's showmanship. I am not generally that way IRL. IRL, I'm actually a very chill guy. Some would argue a little too chill. Others would say chill to the point of being lazy. Okay? I'm not going to say they're right. I'm not going to say they're wrong. That's just other people's opinions that I've noticed. Okay? If I'm being honest, okay, I had to grow up really fast. And by that I mean I lived in a part of the world where going out and being a kid could mean you end up a pile of bear shit in the woods. Okay? Literally, not figuratively. You go out to play, to ride your bike, and you could be a pile of literal grizzly bear shit in the woods. Or wolf shit. Okay? That was my childhood. So because of that, as an adult, I'm enjoying things that I never got to do as a kid. Okay? And I'm not talking about going out for rides on a bike. My video game existence before coming to the lower 48 was a half an hour when my dad felt like letting me do it. Okay? I didn't have comic books, I had Legos. I didn't have, and I didn't have many of those. Trading cards were not allowed in my household because my dad said they were quote-unquote satanic. Okay? So while the rest of the kids my age were out there playing Pokemon cards and, you know, doing everything else, I was stuck inside playing with Legos and reading a Bible all the time. Okay, those were my two options as a kid. And when I was allowed to go outside, it was when we were 6 miles out of town, and I wasn't really able to interact with very many kids except for the one neighbor kid that was next to us, who I will not name drop. Okay? So yes, in a way, I am slightly mentally messed up, a little bit. But I do know where the lines are, okay? Am I, quote-unquote, a racist, quote-unquote? If you ask enough people on the left, I'm sure you'll find one that'll say that I am, okay? If you ask anyone on the right, they'll say, no, he's just a normal dude. Just a guy, okay? And that is really the IRL persona that I intend to maintain. Just a normal guy, okay? On here, however, you will hear me spout off a few insults, or, you know, I might say someone did a stupid, just like I just did with that farming setup. You know, you might hear me criticize someone in a very severe light, or whatever. All that aside. Okay, and by the way, if you think I'm immune to my own criticism, maybe someday I'll bring my phone into the bathroom mirror and you can hear me call myself a fat ass repeatedly. No, I'm not even immune to my own criticism. Trust me. In fact, if you can't deconstruct yourself, you should not be criticizing anyone else. Okay? Point in fact, I'm fat and lazy. Just calling it like it is. Yeah, I'm gonna dig out another section over there to put a row in. Things that I'm bad at doing. Upkeeping my exercise routine. While I'm sitting here kind of frustrated with my auto mechanic, him not fixing my car has been the biggest health benefit to me of anything that anyone has done. Okay? Because, like, on a normal day, I am the definition of fat and, pardon my French here, I'm going to cuss a little bit, fucking lazy as hell. Okay? And probably the only thing that makes me different from anyone else in my situation is my level of self-awareness to that fact. Okay? I'm not going to deny it. I'm not stupid enough to try denying it. Okay? But there is something that I will not tolerate in my comment sections or, anywhere else, and that is the use of the Punisher shirt or logo in my comments, calling for violence against people who haven't reached that point yet. Okay? Number one, we're still at the investigative phase of these things being claimed as true or not. We don't actually know what happened or didn't happen. The only one who does is Officer Hyde. Okay? That's number one. And because it's so early on, and I have seen people on Twitter, screaming to basically throw these people into a burning pit somewhere, right? Look, I get it. You're mad, you're frustrated. We're all pissed off at the fact that this stuff is happening. Take about 5 seconds to take a step back, okay? Realize for a minute that calling for violence is illegal as well, okay? And that right now the law is in the process of taking place. The person who needed to speak out about this has spoken out about it and is calling for the other people or persons involved to speak, who has said something about it in the past, to speak out again, this time in a formal setting. Okay? Let the process happen. Vigilante justice is only to be met out, not even after the process has happened and nothing has changed, but after things hit such an untenable point that you have no other alternative. Let me repeat that. There is no other alternative. Okay? That kind of thing happens after the protestings, after the court cases, after the litigation in Congress and the Senate, and, then things just kind of ramp up from there, right? Typically speaking, these kind of things sort themselves out, okay? Jumping on the violence bandwagon is not something you want to do. It's not something I want to do. It's not something that should ever happen. Reality, however, violence does happen, and violence does achieve things. I get real tired of that violence solves nothing BS. It is bullshit. Violence does solve things. It happens all the time. It just shouldn't be the first thing you jump to. Should never be the first answer. Okay? Your first answer should be civility, honorability, and integrity. Okay? Not not jumping to the comic book character extreme, okay? Now, that being said, we'll wait and see what happens. And I'm also going to say something else. A lot of you people on Twitter don't want to hear it, but it's the truth. A lot of you probably don't live in New York like me. I live in Maine. I am personally just calling for a more national recognition to this problem, because it needs to happen. We need to have the talk about our schools and our religious institutions. That is a very uncomfortable conversation. Okay? It's an extremely uncomfortable conversation that no one wants to have, and with good reason. It's not a good conversation to have ever. And that is the question of, are our kids safe at these locations? Now, I'm going to put aside my first instinct answer and say no, and say 9 times out of 10, mostly, yeah, they're probably pretty safe. But the thing is that you need to understand that that's statistically speaking. There's a difference between on paper and real life. Here's the reality of a school district, and this is why I don't believe in public school. You are, in fact, entrusting your kids' well-being to someone you do not know. Now, here's the thing. As parents, and yes, I am a parent twice, about to be 3, maybe even 4 times, and also we're getting married this year. People need to understand that as a parent, you are tasked and responsible to the well-being of your own children, first and foremost. And it's not just a responsibility, I said tasked. You are required to take care of your kids. Now, I don't like a system that lets some random stranger, okay, instruct my kids in ways that I don't think are right, first and foremost. Okay, that's like numero uno, my biggest issue, right? And I am not some LGBTQ ally, pink-haired, whatever. Don't misunderstand me when I'm going to say next. I hate the community. And it's not that I hate the people who are that way. I have friends and I have family members who are that way. Okay? What I actually mean when I say I hate the community is I hate the fakers, right? I don't mind people who stand by their guns. That's like not even remotely a problem with me, right? I have a cousin who's like that. I actually have 2 cousins who are like that, okay? What I hate is the ones that make a mockery of their decision, okay? There are some things that I will mock, viciously mock. One of those is these idiots, for example, in Seattle, Washington, the 2 guys who were quite literally straddling each other in a parade in Seattle, was it Oregon or Washington or something like that? I think it was Seattle. Yeah, that deserves to be viciously mocked. And by the way, I have straight up legit trans people in my friends list who agree with me on that point. In fact, actually, one of them even said that whoever did that deserves the wood chipper treatment. So I can tell you right now, not everyone who falls under that thought process of being that way likes the community either. In fact, I'd argue that there's probably a very large portion of your own minority class that you are trying to promote can't stand you. And I would be very safe in that assertion. Like, they probably hate you more than they hate people like me. And it's all about your branding and the fact that you make everyone who, fits in that category look bad. Okay? And that was never what they stood for in the first place. You made it about that without them, having so much as a whoopsie daisy about it. So, I hate the community. That's what that means. Okay? It's not I hate the individuals. I hate the representation that they're getting because I don't think that it's the right kind of representation. And there are people in the community that agree with that sentiment. Instead, what they got was some sort of clownified, it's not even real. It claims to be something that it's not, and that I think is what really angers a lot of my friends who fit in that particular persuasion more than anything else, is the fact that it's just not real. It's not real representation. It's a bunch of freaks taking advantage of someone else's identity, and to be honest with you, that's not okay either. And, I mean, sure, there could be a point in time where someone comes out and says, well, we didn't intend for it to be that way. Okay, then you need to get out, you need to say that you didn't intend for it to be that way. Alright? And then you need to make it right. Like, pretty common sense stuff here. Okay? Oh, I need more water. Anyway. Oh, hey, that actually worked out pretty good. I guess I didn't need more water after all. I would not mind actually seeing these people get the representation that they do actually deserve. Because again, I have family members that fall into these categories. Which is another thing that irritates the crap out of me. The use of categories to isolate people. And I mean, hey, look, there are certain members of my family that are very anti, and I get it. Okay? It's not something you're comfortable with. Believe me, I get it. It's not a very comfortable topic anyway. Oh, boy. You're gonna make me do that, huh? There. A lot of topics in this world are not very comfortable, but you're gonna have to get used to addressing them. That's one of the things that I have learned as a parent. The strong reality that you're gonna have to talk about things that you don't want to talk about. Anyway, I think that if Angry Cops is seeing this happen and he's speaking out about it, I think there should be an investigation into it. And I'm not saying that he's lying, I'm not saying that he's not, but if it comes to the light that it is the truth, then action needs to be taken legally, civilly, and through societal means, not through vigilante justice, not through the vigilante system. And to those of you out there who say, but Frank Castle would never, there have been plenty of times where Frank Castle has walked away from a situation because it's not something he should be a part of. Okay? One of those situations has always been anything involving kids in schools. There have also been plenty of times where he's beaten the brakes off of someone for touching a kid, sure. But we're talking about school administrators here, we're not talking about the freaks themselves. Okay? We're talking about a school trying to cover its own ass. We're not talking... At this point in time, we're not talking about someone who allegedly, laid so much as a single finger on a kid. Okay? If it comes to light that that's happening as well, then the police need to be involved. Okay? We don't live in a comic book universe. We live in the real world. Okay? And there are real world consequences for these actions. There's also real world consequences for taking the law in your own hands, and unless you're ready to pay those fucking price tags, don't do it. And in fact, even if you are, or you think you are, consider for a moment the fact that you're not the only one who would be affected by that decision. While, yes, seeing someone beat the brakes off of the diddler, as I've been kind of half-jokingly calling them, would be remarkable to see in a comic book. IRL, it's not the kind of justice you want. And we already have that. It's called the prison system, by the way. And if you think those people put up with, kitty diddlers, as someone who's seen prison before, not like as an inmate, but from this side of the bars, and has seen and heard all the dirty little details, there is a zero tolerance policy. 100% a zero tolerance policy. It is not tolerated at all in prison culture. Heck, even most wardens in the US are likely to, let's just use more family friendly, they're likely to put an abuser in harm's way. We'll put it that way. They'll never admit to it, but yeah. If you hurt kids, you are the scum of the earth as far as anyone involved in the prison system is concerned. If you hurt kids, most cops see you as scum and worthy of whatever is coming to you. So when, you get to prison and someone named Bubba, and you know where that goes from there, right? When you get owned and used as an extortionary, source of income, and you're in prison, I have precisely zero sympathy for you, and nor will I ever have any sympathy for you. And I'm going to say something to the Gooner Squad addressing this matter as well. Be careful what you watch. Because even if it's on accident, even if you didn't know that, the person you were watching on your computer wasn't, of age, the law doesn't care. All they know is that you did thing, and you're going to now have to pay for thing. Oh, hey, fences work too. Look at that. Well, that's cool. It's too bad they won't work here. Anyway, that's kind of the. I'm not really gonna say good news, but it's good that people are actually talking about this. Like, if the Catholic Church is gonna get raked over the coals for covering something up, then the schools need to be held responsible as well. Okay, and that's not just out of some like sick fairness thing. It's just it's equal application of justice. Okay. You don't have to like it. I don't care what you like or don't like. We're going to redo this a little bit. And actually, I kind of want this one closer to the middle too. Now, I'm going to address something that a not so nice person said to me. I'm not going to use their name. Okay. I am not going to name call them. Okay. I could call them a chud. I could call them a redneck. I could call them every name in the book. Okay. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something that's going to surprise the hell out of most people that know me. And say something else. I got called a worthless piece of shit, a lazy person, and a bunch of other shit, right? Okay. True. No, they're right. They're right. And I will continue to maintain that image until I see fit. Sorry, not sorry. Kind of done with this whole argument thing over how I choose to spend my days, how me and my fiance choose to spend our time together. You know what? Everyone has opinions are like assholes. Everyone has them, and they all stink. Okay? You might not agree with how me and my fiance spend our time together. That's fine. That is your choice. You're not a gamer. Whatever. Again, not my problem. Okay? I don't like where that door is placed. In fact, we're probably just going to remove this whole section right here and redecorate the whole thing a little bit. I'm just setting this up to turn it into a harvester, basically. This was going to end up being another expanded farm for chickens, but I've decided not to build it there. Now, me and my fiance have agreed that I am to get the streaming platform, whatever we choose to make of it, and I am to turn it into a thing of some kind. Okay? I can't say why because of her employer, and it's nothing bad. So Donna, if you see this, it has nothing to do with any employees. There's no bad blood. There's none of that. All right? None of that is going on. Okay? This is a lifestyle decision by me and my fiance. It has little to do with you. Well, it actually has everything to do with you because you're her employer. She doesn't want to work for McDonald's for the rest of her life. And to be perfectly frank, I've been treated like crap by so many employers over the course of my life. I'm just kind of done dealing with it. And I've expressed this sentiment on this channel before. Okay? I'm not trying to wrangle off pity or sympathy. It's just a statement of fact. I've been a Walmart worker. I've worked for Dollar General. I've worked for Dunkin' Donuts. I've worked for Rite Aid before it was Walgreens. I've done all kinds of things, okay? I've gone to college. I've worked for a small general store out in Bush, Alaska. You know, these are all things I've done over the course of my life as a human being. And you know what I came to realize? Working for somebody else sucks massive nuts. Okay? Some people can tolerate it, some people can't. After doing it off and on for the last like 10 years, I'm done doing it. No. We've kind of come to the agreement that one of two things is going to happen. Either one, the streaming is going to take off and we're going to have our income set. Or two, we're going to go get 10 acres of land somewhere after we save up some money. She's going to work the part-time job for someone because she doesn't mind doing it. Okay? And I'm going to be raising a farm. A very small farm. Man, I might just discontinue this entrance or pipe it in over there. We'll pipe it in over there. Like, literally just pipe it in off the side of the garden. So that's kind of where we're at on that. All right, we've had the discussions, and yeah, on to more positive and happy news. Something that we were trying to kind of keep to ourselves, but we've decided to go. Well, we were trying to, but after yesterday, we decided to go public with it. We are in fact getting married. Yeah, like no crap, we are actually getting married. We've decided that we're going to do it this spring, and we wanted to wait until the flowers start to bloom, and we're going to, yeah, it's going to be a great time. And anyone watching this who decides they want to show up, it's just going to be a very basic thing. You're not missing anything if you don't come, that's for sure. I'm not going to sit here and hype up my own wedding and say it's going to be the biggest party ever. I'm done with parties. This is just going to be like Subway and Domino's catered thing. Okay. Maybe a local store, restaurant, if we decide to go through them. We are still deciding on that and getting price tags together because, well, here's the theory that we have. We've both seen a lot of really big weddings over the course of our lives, and shortly thereafter, we've seen everything kind of collapse, okay? That's not what we want for ourselves. So it's going to be a very modest wedding, okay? So yeah, that's the gist of it. That's the big news. That one for me is probably personally the bigger set of news that's happened recently. But the angry cops thing is something that needed to be addressed as well. There's some unacceptability that's been happening in the school district systems in this country. And I am a parent who wants it addressed. And my fiance is about to be a parent, and she wants it to be addressed as well. And I really don't think that's too much to ask. that people set aside their differences for a moment and realize that it's not about them, okay? It's about the kids. Um, there are some things, okay, that I will say I am very anti-kid on. I don't think kids should be on the internet at all. I think that until they turn 16, 17, or even arguably 18, the age of consent, they should not be touching the internet. That's my opinion. And as a parent, that would be my decision to make for my kids. You don't have to agree with it. It doesn't matter because you're not my kid. I should hope that if you're watching this, you're a full-grown adult. Okay, well, maybe full-grown adult. You know what I mean. I should hope that you're at least old enough to be able to think things through for yourself. At a minimum. And I'm going to sound like Mr. Daddy here, okay? When it comes to the raising of my kids, there's a thing that people have forgotten. As the parent, I am the authority on the raising of my kids. Not the school district, not the government, me. The buck stops with me, not them, okay? So when I say I don't want my kid attending some LGBTQ community, specifically community event, instead of calling me a bigot and all these other things, you need to respect my decision as a parent and leave it alone. Okay? Because then you're entering into a territory that you do not belong. You are not the parents of my kids. You will never be the parents of my kids. I am. Which means that me and my partner are the ones who get to make that decision, not you. And that is true for all parents. Now, as to the any allegations of abuse, unless you have concrete proof that my kids are being quote-unquote abused, piss off. Okay? And by the way, even if you have quote-unquote evidence, quote-unquote, I doubt it. I don't raise my hand to my kids, and you can fuck off. Now, if my kid ever committed an act of violence against another child or another person to a serious degree, I might. No, I might. Sure, I might strike my kid, sure. Because at that point, I've allowed their development to get so far out of hand and out of control that they're either going to end up in the ground or in prison. And I don't like either one of those outcomes for my kids. In fact, I find it intolerable. I don't want... man. I really don't want this lever operated anyway, but a button would probably work. I actually, this should be manual to begin with. But anyway. Moving on to other news. The car has yet to be returned. Not that it's been stolen by the mechanic, but rather, I haven't gotten any news about it's being worked on or anything. It's been like a week. And I'm not holding it against my mechanic because I know he's a busy guy. Okay. Just kind of upset because, like, I've been going in the rain on my e-bike, and I hate riding my e-bike in the rain. So, you know, Larry, Logan, if you're watching this is not like a guilt trippy thing. All right, that's a lie. It is. I had to go out in the rain and get my groceries yesterday on an e-bike, and it was cold, wet, and miserable. Could you please tell me what's wrong with my car? Are we talking complete engine rebuild, or something wrong with the spark plug ignition coils and the system is attributed with the ignition selection switch? I mean, just like let me know what's going on, because like I'm pretty sure I might be coming down with a cold because of that. That was terrible. Hell, I still haven't even gotten over the chills from that ride. Oh. The sad part about it is that after I'm done with the stream here today, I have to make that phone call, and I'm going to have to go pick up some groceries. So, yeah. On my e-bike, up to town. The good news is it's supposed to be sunny and warm today, so I'm hoping that I can get the chill from yesterday off of me. Like, I was even cuddled up under blankets all night last night, which is weird because I don't usually sleep under blankets. I usually sleep on top of them. And it was still cold. So, something's up. But I guess I'll worry about that later. Oh, let's see. Stuff I don't want to lose down below. I can remake an iron pickaxe and an iron sword easily. Alright, now. I'll probably go all the way down. I don't usually go all the way down. There's a mine shaft I've been kind of plaguing lately. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, let's break the stone pickaxe before we start using the iron one, huh? So yeah, that's the three pieces of news that I have. Angry Cops is doing a thing going after Buffalo School District, which I don't really think he's necessarily going after them. He's just kind of, trying to exert a little public pressure to get them to do the right thing, answer the subpoenas, mostly, because they've been served by the legal system. They just refuse to answer, which is, by the way, I think that's highly unacceptable at every level, and that alone should get them a contempt of court, Oh. But, Yeah, I think this is going to lead to a big channel disclaimer. Never mistake what I say as a call for violence. Do pedophiles deserve a wood chipper? Yes. Would I if it were legal? I can't say that because of terms of service. Um, do I think you as an individual should? Can't say that because of terms of service. Um, do I think legally it's a good idea? Hell no. Bad idea. Terrible idea. Let nature work itself out. That's all I can really say on that. Um, you know, Calling for violence is not acceptable on these platforms, so therefore, even though they are the lowest of the low and the most disgusting of the most disgusting, I still have things that I have to be careful of what I say. That being said, if you touch kids, you deserve the wood chipper. I'm not saying people should. I'm not going to say people should go out and do it. I'm not going to condone acts of violence. I'm just saying my opinion. You deserve the wood chipper. And I'm going to leave it at that. Okay? Um, you know. But believe me, there's a fire in my belly that's telling me to say something else. There's just, unfortunately, because we live in a society where terms and services dictate everyday life, I can't say what I really think. Because I could be held criminally liable if someone were to act on what I say. And I refuse to play into that game. So. Although I think it's retarded. And yes, I just used the R word. I think that whole premise is just straight up retarded. In fact, I think it's an insult to the word retarded. And that is Bedrock. But yes, I am quite frustrated, quite angry, and when people say you're a hateful person because you hate pedophiles, I sit there and I say exactly this: I don't care about your emotional blackmail. If you victimize little kids in any way, shape, or form, in my mind, you deserve the gas chamber. And I, as a person, would be more than happy to push the button. But I also understand that we live in a world where vigilante justice can be sought out by people who are not mentally stable. And a lot of the times, vigilante justice does not find the right target. Actually, it's about the same. It's about equal. The criminal justice system versus vigilante justice is about the same sort of miss. The difference is that when they miss, they can afford to miss. You can't. And most of the time, you can't even afford to be right. So, there's that too. Anyway, let's get on to some Minecraft topics. We gotta get back into, you know, I just figured I'd cover some things that I'd seen over the weekend. Seemed like a good idea to have the conversations that need to be had. Oh, don't tell me I have to go get more sticks. Actually, no, I don't. Now, um, my reason for hating pedophiles, by the way, chomos, kitty diddlers, you know, it's not because of a personally lived experience. It's because of someone very close to me. And um, when she's ready to tell her story, I will be there to help her tell her story. This person is, I'm going to say, like family, just to protect their privacy. Um, and what happened to this person, it happened to them when I was single digit age, right? I didn't fully understand it, like 9, maybe double digits. I could have been 10, but it was me and a small group of family members that were kids that she came out to and told us what had happened. And I didn't understand it at first. It was just something that I knew in my soul I had to tell my mother that I was told. Okay. And while I was asked not to tell our mother, I also recognized that my sister was only like 6. Okay. Oh, crap. I totally just name dropped it. Well, I'm not telling her whole story. That is her job to do anyway. And at some point there may be an interview where she gets to tell her side of what happened, and that's going to be up to her to do. I am not going to pressure, nor is anyone else. But because of that, and because my sister was made the victim, it's just like a fire in my gut. I never want to see it happen to my kids. I never want it to happen to anyone else's kids. I never want to see it happen to anyone ever again. Kind of thing. It's kind of like, and I hate using this example because it sounds so bad, right? But it's kind of like when a Christian sees something that's like straight up repulsive, and then the first thought through their head is, we had crusades and inquisitions, you know? It kind of leads to that kind of thought process. And I know that those things don't exactly have the best reputation on the planet, but, you know, Um, I just I shouldn't have even name dropped the person, and that was a mistake. That was on accident. I did not mean to do that. Um, and I hope that it doesn't cause issues later. It could. No, straight up it could. Dude, no one's here. You need to chill. Yes, they're turkeys. Those are turkeys. Little dude's barking at the turkeys. No. Alright, this is going to get me demonetized for sure, but I'm just going to say it. I would love nothing more in my lifetime than to find those who make victims of children and to crush their skulls under my boot. And I would literally start calling them crunchies at that point. I am not kidding. I'm not fucking around. That is how I feel. Okay? I probably will never be able to act on that feeling because about the second that I do, I go to jail. So, you know. The only good predator is a dead predator. Magnus, leave it alone. I don't either, and because I'm streaming, I can't exactly get up and go take a look. Okay, they're open. I'm gonna call him. I gotta mute my mic on here because it's a private business matter.
Take the garbage out, so I thought I'd
So,
wait until you were at a point where you could.
I'm really not, unfortunately.
Okay, well, if you do
So,
that,
just
then
give me a few minutes. Let me get
let me know.
my guy back to his base. I'll remute the mic for you and probably go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Why don't you use the bike?
You talking to me?
Yeah, you.
I can't ride a bicycle.
I didn't mean the outside bike. I meant that one.
No.
No? Hurting your back a little bit or something?
Oh, I can feel my feet.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah, that's another reason we need the car, because in order to go get the oil for it, I have to go drive and go get it. Alright. All right. Yeah, let's clean this up a little bit because I'm not really a big fan of the way that's set up anyway. At some point, I am going to have to gear up and get ready to go take on an end portal somewhere. Not really looking forward to that. It's a dead end. Yeah, it's a literal dead end. You're serious. Well, that sucks. Yeah, no, it's a literal dead end. Oh, let's spread some of this torchlight out a little bit. Nope. I mean, I must have strip mined it because all that's left is this little bit of coal. probably not a little bit, it's probably a big old vein of the stuff, which is always a welcome thing, but that, remarkably, is actually one of the things I was actually looking for. Okay. That drastically changes my opinion. And actually, as a result of that, we're gonna smoothen the ride up and down, basically. Oh, actually, there's enough bamboo there for me to make some torches. Quite a few of them, actually. Okay, so for the interest of, you know, not screwing myself over here. There's two of them. I need 4 sand blocks. That'll work. Oh, no, it won't. I need 2 more cactus. And a hopper and a chest. So, actually, I have enough cactus to do it anyway. Wow. Now, Okay. I wish they worked that way, but they do not. Okay, where does that come out at? Oh, that is way too far away. Yeah. Okay. Oh, what now? That's cool, I guess. Hmm. Yeah, that could be a problem. Ah, hello, Denoi Kai. With a fish emoji. That is probably the most amusing thing I've seen all week. And also, why is my screen brightness down so much? We'll fix that right quick and in a hurry. Oh yeah, that is way better. Oh. Yeah. There we go, that'll make going back and forth a little smoother anyway. I have no idea what actual practical purpose this serves, other than just to test out the cactus as a damaging block for... You know, specifically for the express purpose of collecting dead flesh, maybe. You know, I'm not really sure what, a zombie loot farm provides me with. I don't think it provides me with much. If I'm being completely honest. It's just, I don't know. You know what? No. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea what purpose this farm serves. Other than just to test a concept. And, I mean, yeah, it works. If you're just trying to do a loot farm, sure. Sit and stay, bud. Yeah, you like to bark. Anyway, back to it. Yeah, that's interesting. Uh, apparently, rotten flesh really doesn't have a purpose in this game. I mean, it does, but it really doesn't. Huh. Yeah, that's the right camera. I wonder why it looks so blurry today. That's weird. Yeah, I think it's something to do with the camera itself. I'll have to look into that. It's got a little bit of blur going on. Hey, Sophia Jones. Doing pretty good. How are you doing today? Oh. That's good, that's good. Green doors trip me out sometimes. I think they're creepers. Yeah, I am today. It's actually functioning. Yep, Minecraft on Monday, Destiny 2 on Tuesday. Typically, I try to do Fallout on Friday, but that's negotiable. No, it's not. This is straight up vanilla. Actually, we're about 20 minutes away from switching over to the modded game. Yeah, pretty regular. Barring, of course, certain emergency, IRL situations that may arise. Right now, we're actually kind of waiting on one of those emergencies to call me back about my vehicle being in the shop and how much I owe for that. But yeah, no, I fully intend to be on Minecraft until, what was that, like 3 hours and 18 minutes from now. My ability to maths is not so good today. Which is why I made a zombie farm out of a bunch of cactuses at a zombie spawner, failing to realize that, of course, the only thing it's going to give me is a bunch of rotten flesh, and, well, yeah, if you know, you know. I'd have preferred a skeleton spawner. Been at it for, oh, you mean today? About 2 hours and 40 minutes, give or take. If you're talking about how long have I been doing it in total, a couple weeks, 3-4 weeks now? Something like that. I'd have to go back and look at the logs. Well, I mean, that's kind of the goal of streaming, isn't it? Yes, actually, I already know that. I'm already earning, but thank you for the tip. But you don't start out making a lot, I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not... I'm not having steak for breakfast every morning, we'll put it that way. I need... Actually, I think before I go to the villages, to see if I can make a cleric, I need to make an actual farm, so... Shoot, go for it. I love questions. It gives me stuff to talk about on stream. Makes me feel better about things. First, let's deal with the water situation. Well, the thing about that is that it takes time to develop. And I'm trying to currently balance IRL with streaming. I don't actually have the well, number one, I don't have the software. But number two, time is kind of a thing. And it will be for the next few months because we have a situation here IRL as far as I don't know how to explain it without getting too graphic in the details, but there's just some things going on, we'll put it that way. That, and I'm not really too big on using VTuber modules. Like, I know my face is a face built for radio, basically, but, like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel too authentic to me. As far as the use of overlays, yeah. Okay, farm. I need... Should I dig out that wall and give it a little bit of extra space, or is that even needed? You know what? Even if it's not needed. Actually, my fiance is currently doing some artwork and stuff for my streaming and whatnot in between her thing, so you know, we're a couple. She shows up on here occasionally. It's just she has things she has to attend to as well. It's I will say this, the hardest thing about streaming is not actually the streaming, it's balancing it with real life. But now that I have a pattern set, you know, it makes things a lot easier. That, and I have a somewhat camera shy dad who, and this is gonna fall into religious, the religious end of things, has some really strong Christian religious faith ideas that he should be expressing, I think, but he doesn't because, again, totally not the camera kind of guy, and I'm trying to show him that it's really not as bad as he thinks it is. Like, you're talking to someone who's doing streaming. Like, you put me up on a stage to talk, and I stumble all over myself and things just get ugly. But for whatever reason, the streaming format just doesn't really do... It doesn't have the same effect. I don't know why. Maybe the degree of separation with the camera makes it a little easier. But... okay. Well, I guess that was it for that. Oh, I know it makes the channel look better, but I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of personal preference. I'm not really big on VTubing. I feel being me, despite having again the face that was built for radio, um, I feel like it's more authentic to actually show me, not a VTuber model. You know, I kind of like that level of honesty with people. Like, I'm not gonna go on here with, I don't know, an Omega model from Mega Man 03 or something similar to it when I don't look anything like that. It just doesn't appeal to me. And while I know my face is one built for radio, I'd rather be honest with people, and that, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me. I mean, I don't hold it against people who do it, for sure. There's plenty of VTubers that I do watch. Nux, Rev, you know. Used to watch Gura for a while, but it's just not... It doesn't... Okay, so I'm assuming when you say DC, you mean Discord. I do not manage an Instagram, nor do I manage a Discord. I have personal issues with Meta, who owns Instagram, and Discord and I have a massive disagreement right now, and I refuse to use their services. So, if you would like, I could drop my Twitter handle, but you're probably not going to get too responsive on that one because that gets flooded with politics all the time, because that's where I take my politics to, is Twitter. So I don't really have any solid communication lines, except for what's except for what you're doing right now, which is commenting with me, and I do definitely try to respend. I wish respending was a thing. Hey, yeah, that dollar I just used to buy that candy bar, I want to use it again to buy another candy bar. I do try to respond to comments on here as much as possible. I also maintain a YouTube channel, so there are plenty of ways to drop me DMs or PMs or whatever you want to call them these days. Whatever the kids are calling them. That's a lot of eggs. Again, massive issues with Meta, and that is a high horse that you're not going to be able to get me off of. I will take every hit in the book to avoid using anything meta related right now. Which is funny because typically when I do those kind of boycotts, they're political. But this time it's actually not. Well, not directly. Oh, no problem. Thanks for your time. Thanks for showing up. You know what? That's just to block the water. That doesn't need to be there. Okay. Alright. I think it's close enough. Let's go and do some mod work. Yep. Well, that just happened. No, small time content creator, and I intend to look small time. Until things get big, I have no intention of treading in the stars, put it that way. No. I can respect other people's opinions about that, which is fine. They can have them. But it's not liable to change. I kind of like me as I am, and you know, I never once said I was the most entertaining person on the planet, and I never will make that claim. At least, you know, outside of being funny or trying to be funny. I've never once made that claim with any legitimate feeling behind it. It's always been sarcastic. Okay, I made the crafting table. What did I make a crafting table for? I've got one down that hallway. What was I doing? Oh man, what was I even doing here? Uh-oh. I forgot this world entirely. That's a problem. Okay. Back in the house. What resource packs do I have up? Dark mode. Obviously. I love dark mode. It's great. I wish they'd actually include this as part of the game. Warp stones, obviously. Security systems, camping add-ons, uncraft. Okay. Well, I suppose 2 sticks and a dirt. And I do know that with the camping add-on, I'm more likely to get ambushed by a bear, so. There we go. A little bit closer to the house makes it easier to get back and forth. Glowberries! Well, I have a food source then. That's good. Idea. As I have plenty of string. I don't want to pull this up in seed map. That's kind of boring, but wait, is that a raccoon? It is. Cool. It's in the surrounding area anyway. Got a snow biome, dark forest. I got ice. There's probably a jungle biome off in the distance if I had to guess that way, or maybe that way. Got more dark forest, lots of hills, and regular woods. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Oh, what to do. Okay. I think the first thing I'm going to do is try to make another warp core. That's going to take me a minute. That was strange noise. And instead of walking all the way down there, let's just go to the spider farm. Oh, excuse me. Can I have my footrest back, buddy? Huh? Won't come see Daddy. Come on. Oh, he's being camera shy today. He says, heck no, I'm being lazy. I don't want to get up for you. Oh. Thought I heard something. Stove timer went off. And there was no, like, the heat's not on or nothing. Just timer went off. Oh, weird. Home. kind of just to save time here. Oh, a sword probably would be a good idea anyway. I know, right? There we go. That's how I got down here in the first place. That's what I was trying to get right there. Well, before I do, note to self, fill in the surrounding area. Well, I guess I should have seen that coming. A little bit of out of sight, out of mind activity here. Apples, wood. Apples, wood. Apple, wood. Smoked bacon. Sorry, I got food on the brain. Kind of skipped breakfast today. Just not really feeling it. Or I wasn't when I, got up this morning. Now I'm kind of starting to feel it a little bit. Thank you, Mr. Zombie, for helping me wet my sword. Now I'm going to bed. Oh, hey, Thalius? Cool name. I do not maintain a Discord. I left my Twitter information in the chat. Well, it looks like it went to YouTube. Here. We'll try to fix this up a little bit. That is my X handle. If you want to get a hold of me, that's the best way to do it. I have issues with Meta and X. Well, not X, but Discord. I have an issue with X, but it's a totally different issue. It's kind of one of those meh things. My issues with the other two platforms are not meh things.
I just realized when I set the clock, I use the timer instead of the clock.
Ah,
So I set 545 minutes. But it looks like it's, I don't know.
that was a grizzly bear. Yep, my character just got mauled through the walls by a grizzly bear. Did not kill my character, but a little bit of a pucker factor going on. Oh, it is stalking. Okay. Good luck following me down to the spider farm. Watch it follow me down here. That, ladies and gentlemen, was what we call a myoclonic jerk. And it is because of, well, this is going to sound really dumb, but energy drinks. No. Oh, what do I do? Kind of wish this was a wireless camera. I really do, because I would actually mount it on my shoulder somehow, kind of like the Predator shoulder cannon, and take you guys outside and kind of show you some of the stuff that we got going on out there. Maybe I'll figure something out on my phone. Maybe I can do a multicast off of it. I'll have to look into the Streamlabs software end of things. I don't know if I'll be able to put Rumble in there or not. Might just be a kick in YouTube thing. Hey, Susan. Thank you for the follow. I saw you earlier. Oh, not much. Just exploring. You know, playing on this modded game that kind of feels like fun to play. Got the teleporter stuff going. Got some Camper's Delight, almost getting mobbed or mauled by a bear. How's your day going? I know eventually I'm going to have to go deal with that bear. And I know what that is. Please don't just be one. It's just going to be the one. Oh. Rats. Now let's get this copper out of here. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, balls. That wasn't nice. Okay. Oh no. Yeah. Oh, that's not cool. Not cool at all. Oh, look, slimes. I'm just gonna have to chalk up that one as a loss, I guess, because I don't think there's any way I'm gonna get that stuff back. No. No, I'm just not gonna be able to get it back. Oh well. You know what? It's past 11 o'clock. I haven't had breakfast. I haven't done the wake up routine yet. So, I think that's going to wrap. Because I did the zombie farm too. If y'all want to hit me up on Twitter, my handle's in the chats. You can hit me up there. Schedules are going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Friday for a while. Wild Wednesday's still up in the air. We'll see what happens. If you do like the content, though, hit the respective like, follow, and subscribe buttons. Share it amongst your friends, and I will see you all in the next one.